What up? What up? Let me just get some people in, share the links, etc., and let's get going. There we go. Flanier, how are you doing, brother? Lakito, appreciate you tuning in. Today's a big one, right? I think DeGods folks don't do too many like public appearances, but here we are. Plus, just tune in, and we're going to. I mean, like, I kind of just want to put Dog on the spot and be like, hey, like, Doc, who do you feel needs to win? Like, needs to win, right? They need to be following me, you guys, right? DeGods community, and F Askus, how are you doing, brother? F Askus, make sure to ask Cup's leadership if they would like to join. And also, guys, just like a shout out to myself, make sure to just follow the NFT cat, follow DeGods community, right? And make sure to actually like wait, boom, that's a lot better. Make sure to follow, tag 3 friends, all the good stuff, right? Like, let me just like get it up here, because at the end of the day, like, I want to make it like rewarding as well, right? Like, if people are gonna like take the time to actually like tune into this shit, I want you guys to win with me. So I don't think like this one is too bad, right? I think it's actually like quite the fucking cool price. And also, I heard that Doug actually wanted to give away like another ute, like after to like whoever has like a DeGods holder. Alice Veteran is seeing Ollie in the background. Yeah, Ollie is always with me. Anyways, make sure that you guys are following the NFT cat, being this guy, all right? Make sure to be following DeGods community, tag 3 friends below, and I'm going to browse together with Doug, whoever's gonna win this. So, and I'm gonna make it real awkward for Doug, because like I will demand him to actually like handpick people, right? Just so you know, I will be putting down the chat, right? So we can actually like repost this to YouTube at a later stage, right? And for now, that's kind of it, I feel. Also, I mean, let me know if there's anything specific you would like me to address, right? Like, I think like one of like the key things I want to know is like, hey, how come that DeGods is still alive and kicking with regards to the community, right? And also, what was that like to basically manage a community which basically have been like hit by a wrecking ball, right? So anyways, like food for thought. I think like this is going to be like incredibly interesting. I needed to kind of I mean, like this one is one like long in the making, and you know what? Doug really is like a really, really, really respectable guy. Like I might be like a little colored in this, but like I've known him for probably what, like 1.5 years now. I think incredibly highly of him. I really do. Um, so yeah, I'm a fan of Doug. I will hit him with some hard hitting questions though. I need to, right? You cannot have like Frank fuck off and then expect like no questions about it, but like not from the point of view like, hey, like he's accountable for whatever, but from the point of view like, what was it like to manage a community which was just like up in shambles, right? And how the he structured like managing like the community in a way that um people are happy, right? Probably not quite as euphoric as like at the top of the bill, but we're seeing some crazy fucking numbers with regards to DeGods, right? We're looking at people. Grills are being scooped up as we go. This morning, like this was scooped up by Z-Fi, right? This morning, this got sold for what? 9 Solana. I'm not sure how long it's been since like the last grill sale, but like, folks, like, you tell me in what kind of parallel universe this is worth like 3 fucking floors. Whatever collectors deem it's worth, right? And I think like that's kind of like the interesting part with DeGods right here, right now. How come that people are still absolutely losing it when it comes down to like the collectability of DeGods, right? Again, just for full transparency, your main man, this guy right here, I have like a DeGod or two, right? I see like many DeGods tuning into like the chat, by the way. So guys, like I have Dog like eager to start. Man, like I'm seeing like so many like familiar faces, right? We're seeing Scuffy, Ollie, level 7, Alice Veteran, Ben, Vasquez, Lakito. And we haven't even started yet. I think actually this might be like a record for like the most amount of people in like 10 minutes, 35. Alice Veteran, I will never dox. Like, I'll tell you this much. From the moment you guys are seeing my face, like, it's done with anyone tuning in, right? So why don't I do like myself and you guys a favor by making sure that this shit is never, ever, ever uncovered. Trust me, I'm doing all of us a favor. S-Dog, all type of questions. Cat, don't hold back. We need to know what's up. It's true. Like, we're gonna make it extremely uncomfortable for Dog. Extremely uncomfortable for Dog. Where's Frank? The only founder, the worst founder. No, all jokes aside, though, guys, anyone tuning in, for how bad the community has had within DeGods, right? Like, I'm talking about like the fall from grace, right? It's actually something which needs to be studied, right? If you're and like, again, I don't want to steer any shit. I like Mad Lads a lot, but hell, I think like if you would give like the DeGods community like $200 worth of USDC for whatever reason, I think most of us would be quite happy, right? So all I'm saying is like, hey, like if you believe that receiving $200 is like a bad deal, the way that DeGods community still sticks together after being abandoned by our God King, Frank, or as I would like to call him, Daddy, right? Since he changed his hair, let's just like call it what it is. It's something which needs to be studied, really. And also, I mean, like, folks, like, I know, like, so many Scuffy saying $200 isn't bad. I don't know why they're complaining. Yeah, true. If you feel like receiving $200 is about, like, just imagine not receiving anything. Anyways, folks, like, as we're approaching like the hour mark, right? Like, this is what's gonna happen. I will tune down the sound. I will stop the chat, right? I will have like Doug on, right? Like the layout is kind of like changed a little bit just to make sure that I can re-upload this to YouTube. I will also make sure I'm gonna make sure to actually, like, for a first time, to actually get back in the stream after, right? It's just something I want to test out. Like, are people, do they want to like talk about like the interview? Do they not? Like, let's see. Just like, I need to like get better as we go as well, right? So like, don't mind me just like using you guys as like a guinea pig some occasionally, right? And I think that's kind of it, right? Kind of. Make sure, this is the last call, folks. Make sure to follow the NFT cat. Yeah, it's gotta be like the one thing, like, I always like have like these interviews kind of late, right? So follow me on the NFT cat, follow the DeGods community account, tag 3 of your very best friends, and I'm going to be putting Doug in like the uncomfortable situation of just handpicking someone. Now, if it's me, right? If it's me, I would love to just like get someone in who's either new or someone who would not, can just like use like another ute or whatever, right? That's me. Like, we did not specify any rules. We're gonna make it uncomfortable for Doug, as he should, and he can just pick someone, and let's go from there. Henry's here. All right, folks. With Doug coming, let me just like switch up. I'm gonna tune out. I'm gonna like silence you guys for a little bit. And now we wait. I should probably also like get the music down a little bit. And in the meantime, folks, let's just let's not do anything. He's here, the man, the myth, the legend. Doc, how are you doing, brother?
Hey, GM, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I do think that like the volume is a little low. Is that possible?
Wait, hold on. Let me see what I can do. Is it any better now?
You know what? Actually, chat. Can you actually like I'm looking at like the comments now. Like can you actually let me know if you can hear Doug well?
Hello.
Yo, do you hear me, Doug?
Yeah, I do hear you, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure that like because like I'm kind of sandblasting like the volume on the speakers here. Okay. Okay, awesome. I'm reading the chat is having you all good. I'm turning off like the comments, etc., etc.
Are we good? We good, yeah?
We're good. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, not bad, man. Busy day. Obviously, I think a lot of you guys know that I recently switched jobs in real
Yeah.
life, that is. So yeah, just been busy, but just doing what we need to do, what we can, just to keep it going. But yeah, can't complain, man.
I mean, because like other than I mean, like you're kind of a work beast, right? Let's just like call it like it is. You've been absolutely nailing the community management on the one hand, but like at the other hand, like you also have like other like full-time activities.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been very lucky. Obviously, in my last job, in real life, my boss is actually a DGen as well. He goes
Nice.
by Moonboy in You on X. But yeah, I mean, you know, he's cool. He actually allowed me to, you know, spend part of my work day, um, doing stuff in the community. You know, being online on Discord as well. He's a
Nice.
DeGods holder as well.
I
He's got
know.
4 decent. I think he's got 1 floor and 3 decent gods. But yeah, I mean, you know, I've been very lucky to actually be able to have that time during the day to work on other stuff. So yeah, I think you know that's basically where I started, and obviously, I think I got into DeGods must have been close to 3 years now. Um, and it's been the same ever since. You know, I was with him, I was working under him 4 years ago. So yeah, very lucky to have him.
I mean, like it goes both ways, though. It goes both ways, though, right? Because he must be he must be quite lucky to have you as well, because like I've been drooling over the fact like the way you handle like the community management, right? I mean, if people think to themselves like, hey, like it's been so bad, right? I mean, like we're talking about like the price action. If you're looking at the community perspective to it, right, and the way that was being handled, I think unanimously people have been a fan of you as a person, but like also like the way that you've well handled the community management, right? Like, how was that like for you in like the past 3 years?
No, it's good, man. It's good. Honestly, I think when I first started out, obviously, it was very different time, just in terms of what everyone is doing in the space as well. Um, Obviously, I think back then meme coin wasn't even a thing, so most people would spend time on the server, and I was just a regular holder back then, and obviously the culture is a little different, and we have separate chats for youths, and obviously for people to try to get a god, OTC, not on any marketplaces, they had to go into BST, and you know I think a lot of people from back then they can tell you, that was not the best experience because a lot of people were shocked, and when the project was doing well, people do have some sort of an ego, um, sort of like looking down to people, etc. But that was 3 years ago. Obviously, very different now. Even back then, before I came on as CM, I think it was shifting a lot because people were basically, I think they were too busy elsewhere. People just weren't really focusing on NFTs. And prior to that, obviously, we were on Telegram. We didn't even have a Discord. Um, but yeah, I think it's very different. I think if you look far enough into the last couple of years, but really, I think things took a good turn when Chill actually reopened Discord. I think that's basically when we started to really transition into this new era.
I think so too. So let's maybe let's start off strong. Let's like ask like the hard questions strong, right? And
Yeah,
that would be like, I mean, like, be honest with me, right? Like, because like you're part of the team, but like we've had like the conversations to where you earlier mentioned how like the team is kind of their own thing a little bit, and like the community management like equally is like another thing, which are kind of connected but like also separate in like the same kind of way, right?
yeah. I mean, the CMs are things. Obviously, it's very silo. It's very very much like an individual contributor. And I guess in a sense that's okay because obviously the team is put together, um, from the original era, and I think whoever was left, running the show, obviously Pasta and Chill, and the rest of the teams, most of them were actually made up of tech guys and designers. So it was the way, sort of like, to keep it running, the day to day. Obviously, updates, in different aspects, which we later saw, that came in the form of badges and profiles. Um, I guess as the CM, I worked with what I had, just in terms of, what was available around us. Obviously, the brand itself has always been strong. Um, but I think when I came on, it was more to do with the fact that we had a mix of new energy and people who just stuck around basically. So
Mm,
we went from there because if you look back to when we reopened Discord, I think it was the same day as Magic Eden launching their own token. Um, so that very same day, I think a lot of active holders today, that's when they first bought that's when they first bought the NFT, in DeGods or in use because they had that stimmy. Um, Equally, you had people from way back, still buying
true.
at that point as well. That was a fun day because I think that might have been one of the it must have been one of the biggest airdrop in recent years after Jupe. Maybe
Yeah.
the one between Pengu, I think those of the I think they were quite close together. But yeah, that was a decent drop, and it allowed a lot of people who were waiting, were sidelined, but at the same time, people who's been around to get the god they always wanted. But yeah, I think that's where it started to take a turn, because on that very day, a lot of new energy came into the chat, and for however long they stayed, people come and go, but
Sure.
while they were here, it wasn't bad.
No, I get it, right? Plus, like, I think like that. I mean, that has been like the depression era, right? Between now and then, like that's probably been like the most like depressed state of the market, to where like, yeah, like you have like a bunch of like hardcore still within it. Like some people might like just buy the ones NFTs they always wanted to, but like at the same time, right, like in like the entirety of the market, like it's still very much like, yo, NFTs are never going to be a thing anymore. There was not the same kind of positive outlook as there might be like right here right now. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think honestly, like to an extent, is right, because if you look at how things were done, or like what happened in the last run or last cycle, like if that's never gonna happen today, in terms of the money involved, the volume involved, and if you go on, say, like some old account, people rapping, punks, or the apes, when they went to events like, Ape Fest, for example, those
Yeah.
stuff don't happen anymore. Equally, you don't get institutions like Kraken, you know, leveraging NFTs to, as sponsors. They put it behind a Formula One car just because it was cool. Um,
Yeah.
'Cause I think, overall, I think everyone knows that crypto, just in general, it's very much sort of like an attention-oriented economy, right? And it's just as simple as the attention is not in NFTs anymore. And where we are today, I think it's basically the bottom. Whoever left standing by the end of this, communities who are still active, you know those communities are the only one who have a chance to make it out of this, alive, basically, because everyone is struggling. It's no secret, because obviously royalties get paid in the underlying token price. So with Solana being at $80, no one is making enough money to cover the cost. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say this is probably, as bad as it ever gets, unless Solana keeps tanking. But at the same time, there's another side of the coin, isn't it? Like, everything becomes a lot cheaper. Collecting is a lot easier now, for those who are willing to. So the only sort of like the only thing we can control is sort of like our effort as a community, as a team,
Sure.
just in terms of
Sure.
showing up every day. And for me, I think the way I see it is that that's the only way to make it forward, is to keep showing up. Because, I mean, otherwise you probably don't need to be in NFTs. Otherwise, there are a lot of alternatives for you to spend money on. But I think those who are willing to spend still, they see the value in the community, and that's the only sort of like value in any project right now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know what? Like, whenever like whatever goes up must come down as well, and oh boy, did it come down, right?
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
yeah.
I mean, sorry.
No, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, 100% right, because it doesn't matter how you look at it, I guess. If you determine it in the underlying token value, or even USD value, that's just mad, because you see people like Justin Bieber spending millions on an ape.
Yeah.
That USD is, it doesn't matter to him, but just in terms of the asset itself, it's never gonna be valued the same. Not in a very long time, I don't think. But you know, that's part of the history. That's part of the law, isn't it?
I mean, it's true. Plus, like, it's just like peak market like sentiment and like investor psychology, right? Like, um, it definitely was some kind of a tulip mania with the gods, and at some time it imploded. But like the same happened to like Pokemon cards, and like we don't like yap about that too much. Um, don't mind me asking, from your experience, right? Like, what was like the mood in your perception, both like within the team and within the community when Frank left, like, which is nearly a year ago?
Yeah, yeah. I think I guess within the team, some people already knew ahead, you know, before the actual announcement that we saw on X. Um,
Yeah,
because essentially well, Frankie, you know, passed on the power or sort of like the day to day to Pastor and Chill, way before the announcements. So I guess like, well, I'm guessing here because I wasn't on board then, um, but I'm guessing, you know, by the time that they know, or sort of like by the time the announcement came, you know, most of them would already have known, and you know, they already had an idea of what they wanted to do after Frankie left officially. Um, but well, I say left, but I mean, you know, stepped down. Obviously, he still has his bags, etc. But you know, just not him being in charge or running the show. Um, as for the community, obviously, you know, you always get the two side arguments, right? You know, most people, you know, want him because for what he has done.
yeah,
Um, and I was actually one of the people who said DeGods was, you know, it has always been bigger than Frank himself. Um, obviously, you know, he created DeGods and he has basically set everything up to 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 the top, um, because he was so locked in. Um, but at the same time, like in any business or any product that's been built, that there's a period of time where, you know, from inception to peak to decline. You know, like him as a founder, you know, he he was putting in so much effort in his early days for him to enjoy the success. But at the same time, like we move with the time. So
yeah,
when the market changed to, you know, more trading oriented, you know, whether it's memes or perhaps whatever, you know, he pivoted, and that's fair, you know. Do you know what I mean? From what I've seen, because he has already created something so big, you know, that can go on without him, in my opinion. That was my perspective. And at the same time, you know, a lot of people think that he was washed. You know, he just, you know, doesn't have what it takes to you know, take way back up basically. Um, but at the same time, you know, it's the same in every community. You know, if you go into any NFT communities now, you know, if you go into OK Bears or if you go to Lats, etc., etc., there will always be a whiner, and there will always be people who's bullish, you know, regardless of the condition. So,
sure,
you know,
sure.
that's what I've seen, and honestly, I don't think that is is the worst that Frankie stepped down. The time that he did, at least. I mean, bottom line is, it would have been a shame if he was willing to keep working on DeGods, but chose not to. Do you know what I mean? So if he was willing to, and you know, he was working, he was locked in, then I'm sure it would turn out great as well. But at the same time, do we really need a Frank that is not 100% committed to DeGods? I don't think so.
Well, you know what? Like, this is the truth to these things, right? Like, whether we would like it to be the case or not, like, you cannot hold someone to gunpoint and be like, you're gonna work for this, right? Like, we all have our own will. And if the guy decided for himself for whatever reason, like, hey, like, he's out, then it is what it is, right? Whether we like it or not, like, the opinion there does not matter. Like, I'll tell you this much, like, I think like within like the DGOTS community, he's like very much like a loved individual, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
Still
sure.
definitely more loved than hated. And then you would have, I think, probably a 10 to 20% who viciously hates him. But yeah, it is what it is. What I'm more like interested in, like right here, right now, let's say we go back in time. Frank just like put the message out, like it got covered by like news outlets, etc., etc. What was that like for you in that moment? Because like that must have been like quite challenging.
Sorry, I think my connection was lost. What was the question?
So like what was it like back in like the moment in time when Frank announced the departure and you were the one who was managing the community? So like what was that like for you? Was it challenging? Was it not challenging? Did you have to work over hours? Like what was it like? What were your experiences like?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, part of me always knew that was gonna happen, even when I first came on, because you see it from his tweets. you know it basically shifted from a DeGods maxi to on chain, right? Whatever that was hot
Yeah,
at that moment. So I guess like everyone knew that he was slowly sort of like moving his focus towards everything else. But for me, like I didn't really find it that tough, to be honest, because I guess I've always been overly bullish in DeGods as a brand. Um,
true.
and I've always think like DeGods is way bigger. But at the same time, the tricky part was obviously DeGods as a server, is alive 24/7. Whatever hours people, you tap in, there are people. And
True.
I guess the most sort of like tricky part that we had to deal with, or me personally, is to repeat myself all the time. Not
Mm.
necessarily all the time, right? But every
Yeah, yeah.
every other, say, every half hour, you would have someone who come in and be like, "Oh, yo, I just saw Frank left. Is that true?" And you know, I basically had to say, yes, he's just a community member now. He stepped down over and over and over again. Um, but that's, I wouldn't say that's tough or sort of like annoying. It's just that's part of the job. And just the way people are, obviously everyone has their own opinion. um
Sure.
and I guess like the worst part is that sometimes you have to entertain the idea that people were throwing at you. um and it's, at the same time, it's never nice to read stuff like, oh, DDoS is gonna rock, etc. These offline. Um, but at the same
True.
time, like I guess after a while, you do realize like every single time, people who were flooding, right? They ended up leaving the community sooner or later, and that's okay. I think like eventually it filters out all the negative energy that people were bringing in, because overall, as a community, we were left with people with the right sort of like attitude or outlook. People weren't expecting the moon.
Sure.
um but that was a tricky period, because obviously it's every day, it's constant. People buy DeGods and they come in and be like, oh, where's Frank? Then when they didn't hear what they wanted to hear, they they sell it into bits, and that's okay too. Just part of the process. But yeah, I think that that part of community management, I do not miss.
I get that, right? Like, and this is like, it's very interesting because I don't think like anyone really shines the light on like what it's like for the team, because like you guys kind of had to deal with it, right? Like, I'll also just like say it out in the open, like I was also like very like I was questioning like, hey, are we about to get fucked over or not, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still like the NFT landscape, and like I'm not gonna just pretend that like I was not worried. Like at some points, like I was worried myself, and it just like takes like a little bit and muscle memory, if you will, to realize like, hey, like it's not shut, like the servers are not shutting down, people are still like putting in the work, right? Like you've been going at it like every single day, etc., etc. um so yeah, like I do think though, like being like truthfully transparent here, I do think it works both ways, to where equally that DeGods is like equally blessed. I'm not talking about like that moment in time, with like a very, very, very good community who is diehard on the art, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think, like, without anyone like in the community today, big or small, everyone matters. I think, but without all of these existing holders, obviously some are a lot more invested, in obviously the whales. Um,
Sure.
if even one of them decided to basically revisit the blur days, we would have been fucked because you know when you see one person self, that brings another set of questions, and honestly, how many people are really ready to sweep or to pick up the slack, when you see 20, 30 NFTs getting dumped into bits, you know and obviously that
Yeah.
snowballs as well, right? Especially in
Yeah.
this market. Do you know what I mean? Like, people who are buying NFTs today are crazy, but in a good way. But honestly, there are better investment vehicles than NFTs. So we're just buying for the art, and we're
Sure.
buying for the vibes and community.
I mean, talk to me about that one, right? Because like I've been like, this is like a part I've been like actually like um covering quite a lot in like the market streams, etc., etc. I go through like many, many, many Solana NFTs, right? Like
Hmm.
obviously all of the blue chips, all of like the and like the ones which I believe are interesting, right? Like we'll see what they're gonna turn out like. There's just like one common, or like one exceptional kind of, what's uh I think like let's call it a feature on DeGods people, and that's DeGods holders are absolutely mental when it comes down to like how they value their grills,
Oh yeah. I
right? Like
I think at the same time, I think that is it was breed in the BST days, I think,
mm,
because people love to trade talk, right? But at the same time, everyone wants to come out ahead, and even today, you will see people casually just dropping their NFTs, in the trade channel, and just to say it's not for sales. Do you know what I mean? Because like people literally take the piss in a sense where they
it's
just wanted
true.
to flex.
It's true. And I'll tell you this much, like it feels good flexing this shit, right? I mean, like Doug, like just looking at, because like let's just call it like it is, and this needs to be studied as well, right? You are a hardcore collector in like the very brand like which is paying you out on on a monthly basis, right?
Sorry, well, I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
No, I'm just like confirming with you, like you are a hardcore collector in like the very brand which is basically paying your monthly salary.
I mean, they do pay me to be CM, but I wouldn't call myself a collector, to be honest. Because honestly, compared to some of these guys in the community, I'm nowhere near. Like, I think across the last year, because obviously, I have access to the community account, And
Yeah.
every now and then, when someone buys a crazy god, I always try to post that as well and link to their profile. And compared to the amount of money these people spend, honestly, like you have people like Cram who just bought the only hell background asset, you know, with him having such a massive bag already. Like those are the true collectors.
Wait, who bought what?
Cram, wait, hold on,
Not
let me send
Kremrock?
it to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
bought the
yeah.
asset the other day, or was it yesterday? I think
Yeah,
he
it's
bought the
such a
only
sweet
one.
deal,
I
right?
know.
But this is like the interesting part, though, right? Like it was considered like a cheap or like a fairly good deal because it was quote unquote, and I shit you not, only 6 to 7x the floor price, and it was an amazing one, right? Like the only acid hell background, so good, like absolutely an amazing piece. But like this is also like what I'm getting at is that this community is drooling over whatever is considered like some of like the better pieces within the collection.
Oh yeah, like honestly, the community is built different, and like if you look at Krams as an example, he has got 43 DeGods on sale and one on Bitcoin, 67 units, and he didn't even buy it when the floor was cheap. A lot of them, he bought when we were way higher, so it's not like someone with money coming in near the bottom and spending a great amount of soul. This is someone who spent literally thousands and thousands of soul across the whole journey in the last couple of years. Like it. I, I honestly don't know how many communities out there actually have people like him. You know,
True.
because I think it's one thing buying at current price. Obviously, it's relatively cheap compared to what it was, but it is still what, like $400-$500 for a floor in today's world. And honestly, 5 SOL goes a long way in a lot of countries. Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
people who are willing to basically fork that out, like why are they spending 5 SOL on DeGods and not whatever alternative there are, or go out for a nice meal, etc., etc. And what it comes down to it is basic is conviction, right? For whatever
Yeah.
reason. And yeah, I mean, we're very lucky to have people like, a lot of people like him within the space.
No, I hear you. It's funny to see, or like funny, like it's interesting to see that there's a portion of like these guys who have been just solid as a rock and who have not really moved like any assets with like price fluctuations on the one hand. It's also like really interesting to see like the new influx of people we're seeing, right? Look at Yang, look at Jim Jammer.
Oh my God, Jimmy, yeah, fuck it now.
I mean, we have, I think, right? Like I think like this is some of like the most hardcore community within the space. And you know what? Like if it weren't for like the time in the market, I would say like if any other, let's say like an average NFT Discord would look at this like kind of behavior, you would say like it's probably like the heart of the bull market because like everyone is happy, everyone is having a good time, and it's just alive and kicking.
Yeah, yeah. I would think like obviously the price does not reflect on how strong community is.
Sure.
I don't think it ever has. Um, but I think, and that's why I'm so convinced that whatever community stays alive, you know, throughout this period of time, it's gonna make it in the end because we need people like this, and it's good to see people are willing to go so far. I think like take Jimmy. I think he literally powered through the leaderboard in number of badges. He's on 42 now, and the sort of like the length he would go through to get these items, even and it's not just in NFTs. I know he spent, not he spent quite a lot of money to get that jacket in real life, the Hamilton one. And
Sure.
so he was willing for a very long time as well, because it has been such a good sort of like, well, we saw it from the side, but what a run that he had, just picking up a lot of good items along the way up.
It's crazy, right?
It
So,
is. And
I'm
yeah.
no, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, and honestly, I think as a community, we are lucky to have a lot of different types of people coming in.
Oh
Obviously
yeah.
you have these hardcore collectors. At the same time, you have the OG Pixel, who basically held through every single, every single crypto event in the last cycle. And at the same time, you have people like Alice, who bring these, inactive people. I don't know how he finds them, but he always manages to find, mythic gods, really cool combo, and just sort of like bring them back to life, whether they're from on Soul, or whether they're on ETH. And the community needs a lot of these energies, because
True.
every time he manages to find an inactive, that is bringing back a growl into the circulation. And I would never, you know, look down on anyone who sell, because it's always a good thing. When NFTs are getting redistributed, it means you're making someone's experience good, because they are getting the god that they wanted, instead of, oh, he's papering.
Oh, for
And
sure.
yeah, that's one way to look at it, I think. And honestly, it's a very good mix of people. Then obviously, with what Pasta has been doing with the badges and dusties, it it does a lot more than just a regular, exercise every month. Because when profile first came out, everyone sort of like, basically walk down memory lane. What sort of badges I can unlock, because I was there, because I took part in that event. I got accepted into youth lists. A lot of different time and place from the past. And that that refreshed a lot of people's, sentiment, almost. And it was almost like a reset. And that got us going for a long time as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I mean, like, it's just like interesting infrastructure, right? And it's for whoever has been like part of the community. I think like it's a nice trip down to memory lane. I'm not sure. Like, I need to call a spade a spade. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like the kind of infrastructure that might bring in back the masses, right?
Hmm.
But I do think it's definitely like a nice to have for anyone who is a collector in things, such as myself, such as you, to just like have like a better experience overall.
Yeah, yeah. I think, like, at the same time, and this is just from my perspective, is
Yeah,
that it's more important to look after what you have first, before you start
sure.
working on bringing in the others. Because if everyone in the community is having a good time, they can then tell people around them who's not here yet about what we're doing, why they're having so much fun. And
That's a
that's
fair
how,
point.
I think that's how onboarding goes. And you know people are never gonna, no one is ever gonna look up Pasta on X and be like, he seems like a cool guy, I'm gonna buy the collection he's in. You know, People are more likely to come in because, oh, they seem cool. My friend, I heard about them from my friend. They're giving away these items in real life, and these are cool. Some people just like them. Some people like the art. Some people like to have a place to hang out. For whatever reason, people came in for different reasons. But at the same time, you know, we need to get the community right first before we start worrying about, what's out there. because I think as long as we sort it out ourselves internally, the rest will come surely.
Sure. I mean, like, and you know what? Like, to your point, I do kind of believe we're there, right? Like, I do kind of believe that the only, I mean, like, I've seen pretty much like all of the other Discord servers. I think like DeGods is probably the healthiest. Must say though, and it's not because like I'm shilling my own backs. I mean, like heck, like I got more DeGods than I have mids, but I would say that the mid server have been like really comparable. But it must be said that they recently had like some kind of a on-chain event which triggered that.
Sure.
But I think it's quite noticeable that DeGods like kind of slipped over banana peel, and like even though Frank left, and even though so many bad things and bad sentiment was out there, there's just this hardcore community, and let's just call it like it is. You're at the center of it.
I mean, I would like to think so, but at the same time, I think people who are buying in now, say compared to mids, I mean, I'm not in there, so I'm just basically chatting off my ass here. But at
Sure.
the same, I think like people are on a different stage in their journey, almost, right? People who are in DeGods now, they have been around, they sort of like, and I always say this to hype people up, is that all roads lead back to DeGods, simply because it is a little bit more, we've been around for longer. There are people who, like yourself, basically, you know, one of the more sort of like active DeGods holder, but at the same time who's out there in other servers, you know. I think like there's whenever you see someone like yourself or other, like Pixel, I think he minted a bunch of rogues when they first came out as well. And you get people like LA Gen, Legend in Lads, you know, these people go around carrying the DeGods brand as well.
True.
So like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to sound overly bullish, but even like Frankie, even if he doesn't work on DeGods, as long as he's got his PFP on, and as long as he stays relevant in the space, he will always be known as Frank DeGods. And that itself is also carrying the brand, and it's so much bigger. And that's why I've always been saying like everyone matters, and DeGods is way bigger than any single one of us. And I think
True.
that shows. Whereas in sort of like more recent mint or newer project, y- you still get people going in thinking I'm gonna mint this, and I'm gonna get a 10x, and I'm gonna make a bag. Like people are still after the gains, as profit, and that's fair, I guess. At one point we
Sure.
were all doing the same, just not with DeGods and Utes. But I think there's a portion of NFT buyers that are still after that moonshot. Do you know what I mean? And it's always easier to do that with a new project because you get to mint it at a lower price. It's still relatively fresh, so it can catch on. It does get a lot more hyped. For a period of time. So you can't fault people for building and wanting to make something new. Um, but I would think that's also why people are sometimes arguing or sort of like fudding, saying like, why aren't the prices going up right away? Because I think that there's a different part of the NFT buying journey to that, and for us it was way before. To I suppose some of these newer communities, they get people who maybe just started out collecting, maybe just trying to gamble, for whatever reason. So I think, yeah, I mean, not because you know DeGods is not, or not just because DeGods is DeGods, but at the same time it's because those people within DeGods, we have already been around long enough to, you know, not hold our fingers and hope for a moonshot and a 10x in a new mint. So I think that plays a part as well.
No, I get what you're saying. It's interesting. I don't think that the audience is kind of expecting like anything out of new mints right right now, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
I
I guess,
mean,
yeah. But at the same time, it's an experience, though, isn't it? Like, how
for sure.
how often do you really get to, you know, and at the same time, right? It's doing it together as well. Do you know what I mean? Every single time someone mint, a new project, it gets spread around in the chat. Be like, oh, have you minted this? Have you seen that? Have you seen that art, etc. etc. And within our chat, whether that is, that guy who spams every single day, or even like, when mid, was about to mint, it was what was talked about. And even recently, right, with backpack, they were getting so much hate, and a lot of us jumped onto it and say like,
True.
let's show some support. That's sort of like, collectively, as an NFT space, people are actually in this shit together, but a lot of people don't necessarily see that or realize that. But it's part of that journey. It's about going in with your friends, or with people like, you talk to every single day. It's that experience as well. And you compare, or what did you mint, did you pull a one of one, these sort of things, they all sort of like all come together, collectively, as one big community.
Well, I mean, like that's the thing, right? I think you can basically just like wave or like spread your wings within like Solana NFT landscape. But like at the end of the day, this is how I see it, right? DeGods is definitely home, and it's not because like it's my biggest bag, but like it's the bag of conviction, and I have like many friends with like a very similar conviction in that one Discord server, right? Like as Pixel Rainbow said it, you can quite easily go anywhere in the world and like have a steak dinner with like any one of these guys and have a good time.
Yeah, 100%. I think a while back, someone DM'd me, just because they saw that I was in Hong Kong, and his parents were flying to Australia, I think, and they had a stopover in Hong Kong, and he was just basically asking like, oh, what could they do? Where would be a good spot? And that's sort of like, you know, obviously we don't really talk about utilities in the sense where people benefited, financially. But at the same time, people underestimate the sort of like the community, how spread it is, how wide it is, and in general how friendly people are. Because I think a lot of you guys who show up every day, are probably, closer to me than some of my friends in real life. Because I get to talk to you guys every single day, and
True.
and we've never met. Do you know what I mean? Like that. And people sometimes take that for granted as well, because they
True.
just assume, you know it's like, the earlier this week, obviously Toppers, he sold his Fat Light Champ, and for the longest time, he showed up every day just talking about OnlyFans and going to the gym. That's his routine. When he first came back, well, this is a guy who minted DeGods, went through the whole cycle, and didn't sell, and for a period of time, he would come in every single day at my time, midnight, and say, oh, the chat is dead for 30 seconds, we're done. That was his way to show up every day to take the piss. And honestly, like, ever since he sold, I do feel the difference, or something has changed,
Mm,
like the way I feel. Do you know what I mean? Because over a period of time, if you see someone every single day, and I could almost, I used to be able to count on him, to show up every
yeah,
day
I
and
hear
and
you.
and say his line. you know. Equally, I know the schedule of some of you guys, like Rutan. He wakes up middle of the night to take a piss, and then he would check to see if something is worth sniping, and that was his routine, and that's something that I know intimately. And over a period of time, you really get to know people, and you don't really get to do that elsewhere, I don't think.
No, you're absolutely right. It's kind of weird the kind of connection you would create with like many of these individuals, right? You know each other on like some kind of a deeper level, right? For better or for worse, right?
Yeah,
There
for
are
sure.
some people I'm sure you don't want to know like that, but
No,
like it's
100%.
it's interesting, right? Like it's part of the journey, right? It really is.
Yeah, I mean, people wonder why, as a community, we are still relevant. That's because they are outside. Because if you're in, you would know. Because
Yeah,
we have seen, we have seen people getting promoted in real life. We have seen people, having their first kid in real life. People adopting puppies. Just part of their days. Part of their lives. People share like personal things, part of their day. Like, and that sort of those sort of like context or substance, they created such a strong bond that only people within the community would understand because that's what they experience. But you're never really gonna understand unless you actually come in and spend the time and try to understand what people are doing in here.
it's hard to explain. Like I'll tell you this much. Like whenever like I yap on this subject, buy yourself a Ute and see for yourself, right? Like a Ute gets you into like the same community as a DeGods. See for yourself. Like they're super cheap, and if you don't like it, just floor it. Easy,
Oh
right? But
yeah,
like DeGods
100%.
is definitely special. Um, so Doug, first of all, like I'm gonna respect your deadline, right? You only have like 10 more minutes. I wanted to basically go out on like a two-way streak, right? Like first of all, I'm gonna make life like really hard for you. You will have to choose a winner.
No,
Whoever
no, you're joking. There's no way, man.
or I'll choose it. I don't care, right? But like we'll have to choose someone who has tagged like three people and is following the both of us.
Yeah, I mean there gotta be quite a few, right? How many people actually left a comment tagging their friends?
It's gonna be like a fair amount, I believe. Let's see.
Oh Jesus! Honestly, I'm gonna leave that with you. I think.
Sure. I'll okay, I'll tell you this much. Would you rather like you'll have to choose this. Would you rather have me choose someone within the DGOTS community or outside?
Ooh, that's tough. Cause honestly, um, huh, that's a good question actually. Cause obviously, I think if it goes to someone within the community, they wouldn't actually sell that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
but at the same time, it's always nice to bring someone in.
It's true.
Is there any way to find a holder tagging someone who's not yet a holder? Or
Uh
is that too tricky?
that's gonna be like a little hard. Um
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I can do, which would basically cover like all of this. I can, if you want, right? This will probably like, am I mistaken, or like you also had like another kind of a raffle kind of thing for like
For the doggos, yeah.
for the doggo badge holders?
Yes.
If you are going to like do that, I can check whether I can see like some community members which I would expect to not floor. Um, is
Yeah,
that a
yeah, I
middle
think that's
ground?
fair. Yeah, that's definitely fair, I think. Obviously, I've always said, doggos on top because that's the way to gauge, who's active enough to get into top 100. I
True.
know there are a lot of people who's on the way there, but yeah, this is not gonna be the last giveaway for the doggos anyway, and you don't lose the badge once you're in. So so yeah, I mean, I'll do the doggo one, and you can give it away at your direction.
Sure. I mean, before we go there though, um, I know like I don't want to be putting you in an uncomfortable position, just like not like any more than I just did, right? I know like you're the community team. You are not within like the team itself. I mean, like there's like a small like separation there. Is there something you believe like people should be looking out for in whatever time frame or whatever? Like, is there something you can just like without spilling the beans, spill the beans like a little bit, or are your lips sealed and you're like, I cannot yap anything on that?
I mean, I can't exactly say what was, discussed, and what was mentioned, but
Sure.
I think the bottom line, I'm gonna say, like, the bottom line is at least get yourself a use. If you're not a holder, if you are already a
Ooh.
holder, do not over leverage yourself into having to sell off your bag. Um, Bottom line is, I think we will always be relevant, and pasta and chill, they do have a vision that require a lot of time to execute everything, in sort of like in their mind. um, they haven't just created a system or a community just to let it run by itself. There are stuff that they do want to do, and they are working on it. Um, but I can't really say how long it's gonna take or what exactly it will be. But I
Sure.
think the brand itself, the community itself, should be a good enough reason to at least hold a youth at the moment.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, last but not least, I'm gonna give you three letters and you tell me which one you like the best. C, F, or H.
Let's go for H.
H. Well, Henry, there you go, brother. You won the Ute.
Yo,
Um,
congrats.
congrats, brother. Actually, um, oh, there you go. Like again, like he tunes in like quite often. Uh, it would be like very surprising if he would not, if he would floor it. Henley, I will actually ban you from the stream. The streets will know. No one will ever like you, and your significant other will dump you if you would dump this youth.
Honestly,
All
we,
jokes
we
aside,
would know. We would know, Henry.
we would know. um, I mean, like, dog, that's it for now, man. Like, we're well, like, within like the timing of things. I really appreciate you coming in, man. Like, DeGods don't do like too many like public appearances anymore, but like, it's been fun.
No, yeah, of course, man. Pleasure's all mine. And if we do need a part two later on, let me see what I can do. But yeah, really happy that I came on, man.
I mean, like, I think like the we actually had like a crazy kind of people tuning in, like 195, which is that's a lot for like we haven't been like online for like too long, or like we haven't been live for too long. Maybe like if you'd ever want to go on, you know what could be fun if we go browse through like the whatever is like on the secondary markets, right? I think like that's actually like quite interesting, and people might be like very interested to hear your take on that, but like more for later, really.
Yeah, for sure. That'll make a really fun part two, I think. And I think for the next episode almost, let's try to do it later my time as well, so like closer to US, just so they don't miss out. Obviously, I know it's hard to find the time to accommodate, with me being in Hong Kong, and
Sure.
the rest of the world is quite a lot behind me. Um, so yeah, let's try to do that next time, I guess.
I hear you, man. Like I'm it's like a personal struggle of mine. it's always like always someone is like missing out. Like it's either Asia, it's either Europe time, Asian time, or like the Americas, and it's the worst. It never gets better. I'm still struggling with like the balancing, like those kind of things. So like that's why I'm doing like 3 streams a day occasionally.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's tough, man. I respect you for like showing up every single day and across different time zone. Because I think when you spoke with Candy Apple, it was late for you. I think. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, you know, I appreciate the work you do, man. Honestly, you're one of the most dedicated people in the space. You know, especially in our NFT corner. So yeah, I appreciate you, man.
man, like it's really been my pleasure, and don't mention it, man. Like thank you so much for tuning in. Let me get in touch with Henry, send a DM to the NFT cat underscore soul, and congrats on your you and Doc. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I've had a blast. Nearly 200 people jumped in, and thank you for your time.
Nah, thanks for having me on, man. All right,
Okay.
I'll see you guys on Discord then.
All right, man. Have a
All
good
right,
one.
you too, man. Bye.
Bye bye. Well, folks, there we go. Let me bring the chat back up. Um, and let's get some music rolling as well. There we go. Cat dog, having a great one, y'all. Bye, y'all. Great interview for you. This one too. Yeah. I'm not fucking leaving, folks. Congrats, Henry. That was a huge one. Let me just figure out the. Let me just like sort it out quickly, Henry. I did not. Where did you send the message to? Ah, there we go. So, congrats, Henry. Just like winning a Ute. I mean, and winning a Ute at what kind of moment in time as well? Because just look at this. Just look at this, period. Are you kidding me? Wait, look at this chart. Look at its chart. Henry, we're all pre-rich now. So yeah, how did you guys like the interview? Am I oh, Henry just won the lotto. True. That's what we do. But folks, we have more coming on, right? Like in 5 hours from now, like literally 5 hours from now, we have primates. And you can actually get yourself like a really good looking primate. I think like it's a mythic one. If you love Utes Momo, just buy them off the market. They're dirty cheap right now. Fuzzy DeGods, there you go. Interview was great, thank you. But like Henry, I don't trust your judgment. You just won, so like you're gonna say whatever. It's not gonna make me feel good. I'm on to you, brother. Obviously, I'm GP Doc. I appreciate the kind words. Which question you thought was smooth, GP Doc? Appreciate like the kind words, man. This is just what I do. Yeah, Henry. I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of true. Give me your wallet address, Henry. Send it to me, and I'll make sure. Nope, it's the same. It's so Utes and DeGods. It's the same kind of Discord. It's the same kind of community. Oh, there you go. Henry, send me your wallet in the chat. Like, Doug is literally asking me to make sure to send it to you. You don't need to verify anything, brother. You need... there you go. You're absolutely right. I don't think you need to do anything. I mean, I thought that one was fucking sick. DeGods saying you are the alpha. Guys, like, I'm just gonna, like, just being real. How good does a chart get to look, right? Maybe I'm slightly autistic or artistic, whatever you want, right? But this is what dreams are made of. I think so. I truly think so. If you're not buying at these levels, right? Like, what's the counter argument? What are you waiting for? Do you think like this will be a fake out and we're gonna actually go down? Henry, you got the congrats, brother. Enjoy. And anyone tuning in, first off, if you like this kind of alpha, right? I live for this shit. I don't have a life. This is my life. So anyone who's gonna be like, NFTs are dead, first of all, fuck you. They're not dead. In this channel, we're showing you guys that NFTs are definitely not dead. Just the price action is ass. But you know what? Like, that's why we're here. Rather be bullish at the bottom than at the top, right? So that's one. Secondly, if you like this kind of alpha, help me help you help me. quick follow on the NFT cat_soul. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't have like too many viewers, but like, well, what can I say? Like, I either need to do better on YouTube, which I probably should. Which I probably should. I mean, let's just call a spade a fucking spade, right? I should probably do better, but like, bear with me. Like, I've only been doing this for 3 months, right? Like, so help me on the YouTube part if you like the alpha. In the meantime, whether you like it or dislike it, I'm gonna keep going. And like, the YouTube algo is crap. No, I just need to do better. 886, just being real. It's not the YouTube algo. I'm not gonna be the kind of a cuck to blame the YouTube algo. If my content was good enough to have like 1,000 likes, then it will be having 1,000 likes. We'll get there someday though. Not yet, which is equally good enough. It's part of the journey, and I'm up for it. If you like it though, do me a favor. Uploading on a daily basis. I'm gonna like re-upload like the interview there, like only like the cut out the edited out interview, obviously, so you don't need to go through all of the bullshit, right? Like daily streams, several videos uploaded per week. Just be consistent. I mean, like, I am consistent, and like, I don't mind it, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, like, what did you guys think on like DeGods in general, right? Like, is this the type of content where you're like, well, this is actually something, this made like a difference, right? Like, did it actually make like a difference to you guys, like listening to the community manager point of view within DeGods? Yeah, where the fuck is Henry? Henry, I think like you should get into like the DeGods server, like they're calling for your name. No, did Henry sell? That would have been like so funny. He didn't. You got me there though, Scuffy. That would have been like very funny though. It's gonna happen sometime, right? Like whenever, like, guys, like, you know what? I incentivize like these projects to do like some giveaways. Like, it's basically twofold, right? Like, first of all, I think if you are tuning into like these streams, you're taking the time to actually learn more about like these projects. Hence, probably you're going to be a better than average holder. Unless if you're just like, unless if you're just gonna like greet max and just like floor it, if you're gonna for greet max. But like, I'll tell you this much: it's kind of interesting to see the perspective, right, from DeGods. I'll tell you what, like, guys, I'll tell you one thing. I think it is super fucking interesting to actually see like the other perspective, right? To where I don't know, like the post Frank era. You had like some points with DeGods being bigger than just Frank. Henry, why can't you upload pictures? I mean, like, why do you need to upload pictures there to begin with, Henry? Oh shit. Henry saying he was struggling with connecting my Discord. Henry wants to Henry wants to show feet pics for appreciation. I've actually been since like the bear market was really rough, right? Like I actually tried to open like an OnlyFans, but like it didn't quite work out. Like it literally just ended me like just like being in like a very like odd positions with my butt cheeks open and no one paying for anything. So I just like pivoted to NFTs instead. Yeah. For if anyone was wondering, right? NFT times are tough, man. What can I say? It's true, like Scuffy, like I did like open OnlyFans. It's just that no one is paying for it. So like I might like just saving myself the effort. I'm not like there's a reason, like guys, like there's a reason why I'm actually wearing a mask. Let's just call it like it is. Henry is getting like quite the fucking hero's welcome in like the DeGods chat. Like guys, like I'm just gonna say it like it is. If you're gonna like tell yourself that NFTs are dead, just have a look at like the DeGods server. If you just wanna like try it out, just buy yourself like a ute and like floor it after. Interesting times, like very very interesting times, I'll tell you guys that. Crazy stream, not gonna lie. Anywho, Charlie, how are you doing, brother? So anyone tuning in, right? In 4.5 hours from now. So is it 4.5? 4 hours and 40 minutes. I'm gonna have primates over. Equally good. We'll see. Potentially, right? Like many people like primates a lot, and you know what? Yours truly is like one of them. Their art is quite literally, I mean, people like it. People like it for sure. Let's see what those MFers have been up to. Right? Like I'm very excited to see what they've been up to. Get some rest cat for the next stream. I should. I'm going to. But I will like thank you guys a lot for tuning in. Like it's really my pleasure. Like it's really humbling actually. Like we have like 230 people tuning in. I dreamt about like I'll tell you guys this much. I literally dreamt about like doing this and being like semi-successful in it, and we're not making money just yet. Off topic, if anyone feels like sponsoring this shit, I'm looking for collaborations. But the point is, I am so grateful for each and every one of you like tuning in. I hope you're having a good time with me. But fact is, we are not fucking done, right? Like we're having a lot more install. Later today, we have primates. Tomorrow, we're having anomaly. On Friday, I'm not sure yet. Probably I'll do like some kind of a market stream. But anyone from Rogues tuning in to like what I'm saying right here, right now, I made like a proposal to Rogues to basically host something for their 1-year anniversary. I've heard that some of them said no. Now, not only am I depressed because of this, but I also think it's a mistake. Like, I think like it's a fucking opportunity to shine like a proper fucking light on Rogues. So I'm just putting it out there because like we don't have like a lot of people. We have a shitload of people, right? 240 people tuning into the live streams while NFTs are dead. Those are decent numbers, like numbers I'm really happy with. So let's use this in order to do something good, right? Like if we want to like shine a light on our favorite like NFTs, then let's shine the fucking light on our favorite NFTs, whether it be Rogues, whether it's Cups by Raposa. I need you guys to get your leadership from your favorite NFTs and send me a DM. I'm very accessible, right? That's all of the Discord active members on NFTs combined. Yeah, it's true, but you know what? People are still tuning in, right? So I don't think like anyone is actually like pulling these numbers, and it's not because of me. Hell, like it's literally because of we have like all of these awesome fucking founders, right? Like it's because of you guys who are actually like spending the time, like you want to commit to something, some content to actually just like have a good time with, right? So Cups will be reaching out, fam. And you know what? I want all of them. There's also some founders I'm gonna like give some shit. Right here, right now, Planet Kaiju. I've reached out to your founder. I've had like many people tagging me in the chat, right? You should have Planet Kaiju on. So I reached out to the founder and he's leaving me on unread. So, dude, let's get this shit going. I want everyone on. But I'll tell you one thing which is very important to me. I need to protect myself, but more so my audience from, well, retard possible scammers. Let's just call it like it is, right? So where I'm going to draw a line would be mints which have been open for months, weeks, right? With like locked liquidity, which just could like die out at launch. That's something like that's a line what I'm. It is what it is. Other than that, guys, help me help you get the favorite founders on. I'm already in touch with some Adam Weitzman. If you're looking to this, like, we're already in touch. Let's do this, my man. Kais is okay from OK Bears. Let's get this going, man. Like, I'm excited to have you on. Jim Jammer from SMB. Let's get you guys on, right? I think like these are some of like the most amazing names within the space. If there are any suggestions, guys, consider me a friend or don't. I don't care. Consider me like the guy who just shines a light on Solana NFTs. Reach out to me, tell me who I should have on, and let's make it happen. Because at the end of the day, if you guys are having an awesome time tuning into the NFTs, Solana NFT Alpha, then I'm happy. I don't have a life. This is it. There is no plan B, folks. So let's fucking go, right? I'm gonna take some rest. I will lock in with you guys within like 4.5 hours. Thank you so much for tuning in. 245 people at this time has been kind of crazy. As today, I'll probably be in I tend to start like a little sooner. I'll see you guys later. I'm purring out. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have been amazing, and on to the next one in 4.5 hours. Cheers.